went down right to the last minute, which Hustle unfortunately came out on the wrong side of a 15-13 defeat. So as we get set for the first face-off, I think we've got Thomas Rosser going down for Swift, and Paul Chapman looks like he's going to take the first face for Hustle. What are you expecting today, Mikey, after you saw the teams yesterday?
Yeah, I think Hustle really put in a great performance in their semi-final. I think Swift naturally were disappointed after going 3-0 in the first weekend. I think there was a little bit of soul-searching going on yesterday. So I think this game we're really set with both teams just not wanting to finish with a loss. They want to really go out and, go out with a win.
Yeah, both teams, had difficult days yesterday, but like you say, Hustle put up, really close performances in both their games, and it's an opening goal there for Ryan Sweetman. Hustle put up good performances in both their games, just come out on the wrong side, whereas Swift, had a difficult day after their first day going 100%. So I think they're definitely looking to make amends for what happened yesterday.
Yeah, it was great to see Sweetman get on the board nice and early there as well. I think he only got one goal all day yesterday, and even within the first minute, he's got himself on the score sheet.
So first nice set possession here for Hustle was Dan Jones on the ball, but unfortunately he's lost out to Rogerson. Ground ball battle won well by Rosser, and Swift looking to break, see if they can move the ball quickly into attack. They'll just wait for their subs to be made and they'll settle into a play, but Rosser goes straight for goal individual, straight through Droibane.
Yeah, he got himself into a good spot. He earned that. He picked up the ground ball, and I think quite sure he was marking him, but definitely just gave himself a little bit of an opportunity. He got himself to a good location just off the side of the goal.
There's one back for Hustle. Will Hardy coming up with their first goal of the game. Hustle on the board, and that's a nice early goal for them to get back in the game. Not to fall too far behind early on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how both these teams respond, having come off yesterday's losses, and I think they're really just wanting to get out nice and early, get themselves on the score sheet, get comfortable, and I think they identified transition as a bit of an issue yesterday, so they'll probably want to try and take as much of that away first quarter.
Yeah, Hardy looking to score again there, but Hurry got down well to save. I think just as we watch them now, I think obviously one area that will have been a disappointment for Swift yesterday was that they conceded 20 and 21 goals in their two games across the day, and unfortunately that's your sort of terminal numbers. You're not gonna come back to win a game from there. So how are they going to sort of strengthen up that defence, because they don't really have too much trouble scoring, but they need to sort of shore things up at the other end.
Yeah, I think the games they had yesterday would have been very different if they stopped transition again. So I think we'll see an emphasis of them really trying to take transition away from Hustle here today. And I also think they might just, we spoke yesterday about them playing that slightly higher line. They might just drop in a little bit and give themselves, the opportunity to play settled D first and foremost.
Yeah, and on the flip side, Hustle was someone who really utilised transition well against Rise in the semi-final earlier. They had a lot of joy, coming off when Rise attack had broken down. Hustle were able to move the ball quickly and had a lot of success there. So it's going to be interesting to see how Swift deal with that again today.
Yeah, we saw Dan Flisk, who's actually just coming onto the field now. He got quite a few transition opportunities for Hustle yesterday, and I'm sure Sam Patterson will be wanting exactly the same out of his players in transition, making sure that they're generating those opportunities. I think we just saw there that Swift really just dropped in and wanted to get in front of their own goal. Play 5v5.
Tight angle shot there, really, from Dan Jones. Was a bit of a hard one to get to the look, and it finished up in the side netting. But here we go, Swift looking for their own quick transition goal.
Yeah,
shot from Rogerson.
That was the 3v2 that we've been talking about quite a lot. If you can get the goal and get those quick outlets, you can get numbers upfield.
Yeah, and also then, it's just about the sort of subbing from teams as well. If you can see who's subbing, who might be caught a little bit short, and you can really sort of utilise that as teams try to move their players around the field. First real possession there for Danny Hilditch today, but his pass goes errant, and we have over and back. And here is Hustle looking for that quick transition goal. Shot from Fliss goes wide, but that's exactly the kind of goals they were scoring yesterday, being really quick off the draw on the ball.
Yeah, it's good to see. We spoke about Fliss getting upfield, and that's exactly what he does well. Just for the Swift, we had Hilditch kind of getting his first dodge of the day, and straight away showing how much of a threat he is with the ball and stick.
Yeah, Danny Hilditch was actually the leading scorer of the competition yesterday, came up with 14 goals for Swift. Unfortunately in their losing efforts, but he's somebody here who, can really be big for them today if they're to take this third place.
Yeah, and do you know what? He's one of the younger guys actually out here, but he's really shown some maturity beyond his years. So, fair credit to him as he actually just goes and takes that shot. I think there was the kind of ones that were going in for him yesterday, so I think he's just going to have to make sure he gets himself into great positions to get himself get off on a good mark in this game.
Really nice attempt there from Josh Polk, unlucky straight into hurry, but again they've broken down on their clear, and that's a really nice transition goal. And I think they'll also get the man up and penalty.
Yeah, we spoke about those swings, didn't we, yesterday quite a bit, Sean. Putting the ball in the back of the net and then getting the ball back again for a penalty that looked a little bit after the ball. Sure, the Swift coaches will be wanting to limit those opportunities. That's just like transition. You want those little marginals to go in your favour as well.
So here's our first man-up opportunity of the day. Hustle on ball, leading 3-2, looking to extend their advantage. Skip past Hardy, back across to Dan Jones. Again, that tight angle is closed out by Hurry.
Yeah, that was a good stop from Hurry, and Swift to come up with the ball. That's exactly what they wanted, a defensive stop, especially man down. They're just going to try and maybe kill out the penalty here a little bit when they try and get back to playing 5v5 across up front.
It's been an interesting game for the teams today. As you say, they've had their 2 games from yesterday, and they've had overnight and this morning to sort of take it all in, put their plans together. I think we're going to see teams real try and match up each of their teams based on what they've seen over the weekend so far.
Sean, I'm going to say it's been a bit of an interesting first quarter. I don't think either team's really taking kind of ascendancy into this game so far. I think what's going to be interesting is seeing actually who grows into this game. There might be some tired legs out there from yesterday, obviously some disappointment, and it's who kind of gets over that and really kind of just focuses on the job in hand and actually tries to take grip of this game and for their team across the board.
Yeah, I think so far it looks like Hustle looking a little bit brighter, sort of trying to be first to ground balls, making the most of the opportunities that they get. I think we talked about all the way through the competition, Swift have been slow starters throughout all their games, even their games that they won on opening weekend.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? Goalkeeper at the halfway mark. Did he get pushed? Did he step?
Yeah, I think he's managed to draw. Yeah, he's drawn the foul.
So that'll see Swift with a man on the penalty box start. Do you know, I don't think I've seen the Swift give that many penalties away all competition. So there's obviously some, they might be playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, or just kind of a little bit of lax of concentration, because they've normally been quite a clean team. And I think what's really interesting is making sure that they can limit those penalty opportunities, because that's just giving free possessions over to Hustle.
Yeah, and Hustle, I think they'll be really pleased with that opening quarter. They've done all their basics well, they've done everything right, they've shot well, and I think being in front for them is really important. You know, we've seen in their games that they've been always tight, but they've always been the team trailing, the team always trying to push back. So it'll be interesting to see how they now look to manage the game, being in front, whether they can, you know, hold their advantage and sort of rather than having to chase the game, they can be a bit, you know, better in how they control the ball.
Yeah, we saw in the opening July weekend that Hustle went and beat Ford during the final this afternoon. And in that game, they got themselves into a lead, and they actually got ahead and made, you know, a 1-goal, a 2-goal lead, a 2-goal lead, a 3-goal lead, and they extended that lead to about 4 or 5 goals, and then just managed the game really, really well towards the end. So I think if they can get themselves into a position of strength, they have that experience to go and manage this game through, and you know, we'll then see really what the Swift are made of chasing this game.
Let's go back to the face-off line with a man serving penalties on both sides. So we're actually down to four outfield players aside at the moment as we go down for the face at the start of the second quarter. Face-off win again for Hustle. Chapman did a good job at the face-off yesterday, winning ball for Hustle, giving them the opportunity, and he's won it again here.
Yeah, I think they knew there that actually if they held on to the ball, they had the advantage on the penalty, so that they had the opportunity now to go extra man, which they're getting into the extra man set right now.
Yeah, they got 8 seconds left on their shot clock. An errant pass goes wide.
Could be first game of the day, Sean, but I think, you know, we've seen penalties, we've seen some turnover mistakes. There could be just, you know, a little bit of tiredness in those legs. I think we're definitely going to have to see, you know, one of these teams really just iron out those errors, and you know, I think that's what's going to win this game for me right now.
Ross again being put under pressure by Kirkland. Their shot clock's down to 5. He's going to have to try and work the ball, but Kirkland does a really good job to come away. And now, again, here's one of Hustle's trademark transition opportunities. Shirt going up against Luke Mills, but Mills does well to slow things down. And the teams are now back to even numbers. Will Shirt coming in with the shot there, unfortunately. Again, those sort of tight angle shots, there's been quite a few of them for Hustle so far, and Hurries close his angles down well.
Yeah, you want the quality of the shooters to be there, and I think you know, just with the flow of this game at the moment, there are, you know, mistakes, turnovers, poor shots being taken. You know, there's got to be a little bit of control. You know, you want to see the experienced guys out there really kind of start to take this. So, you know, for Swift, that could be the likes of Sweetman. Mills really stepping up, and you know, for Hustle, you're looking at you know, their experience in Hardy and maybe Kirkland, those guys who've been to senior world championships and know how the flow of the game can come and go.
Looked like it was just not quite running there for Swift, but I think they've managed to get another penalty out of the Hustle, and they'll go to a 3-man defence here.
So many fouls. I actually think the officials are calling it, you know, fair game. They're not necessarily kind of overly cautious here. I just think there's a lot of mistakes out there and a lot of basics. Again, you know, outlet pass, turnover, and here comes Sweetman yet again.
Timeout called by head coach Ryan Garnsworthy there. Just as Sweetman was loading up to take his shot. I think he wasn't happy when the whistle came, but, you know, Garnsworthy obviously experienced, knows what he's doing, and he's told his troops to take 30 seconds.
We've all been there from a coaching point of view. Absolutely. I don't think there's a coach out there that's never, you know, had the timeout ready to call, getting ready to call it, then play them breaks nice and clean up field, and then the timeout stops the clock. But, you know, they'll have something that they want to work on specifically here. They're probably wanting to get into something around, you know, they've got their 5 shooters out there, so they want to get into this extra man offense. and I think that's exactly why Garnsworthy was calling that timeout.
So tied at 3s here in the second quarter, 5 minutes to play. Feed to Edwards on the crease, can't get the shot away, back to Sweetman, saved by Droibeng.
Here goes Flisk, look at him go.
And they've now got Evans on the field as well, and they might have numbers if he can get the pass away. Pope with the shot, but wide again.
That's what Dan Flisk does for his team. You know, he beats guys in between the lines, and he actually creates transition opportunities for his team. He does such a good job of that. And you know, that is something that the Hustle can continue to look for. You know, he either creating for somebody else, or we saw a lot yesterday of him creating for himself.
Post rattled first by Sam Dyson there, and then Droibeng coming up with the save from the follow-up shot. Again, Droibeng having a really good game, had a really good semi-final yesterday, was really unlucky to be on the losing side, and he's doing the job for his team again today.
Yeah, we saw Hal kind of making kind of consecutive stops yesterday, which was trying to give his team the impetus, and you know, I think he's going to continue to do that. There he is, out of the goal again, kind of making
great save,
making those plays for his team.
Kirkland up to Shirt, draws foul and gets the goal. Penalty cancelled.
Yeah, he did really well there to fight for the middle of the field against Andrew Baxter, and really kind of give himself an opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net.
Just those, like we said, you know, drawing on Droibeng's double saves, but again, coming out, making that interception, setting his team off, that's the kind of thing that can, you know, just give you that little boost, momentum shift that, again, Hustle are going to be done by penalties, and again, that good work could be undone.
Yeah, that's the push rule that is slightly different in the sixes format in terms of, actually, is it I guess a push, which is more around equal pressure, or is it actually more of a shove? And I think the fact that Hilditch was probably airborne made it a bit more of an easier call for the officials.
Hustle just trying to work the ball out. Swift putting on the press to try and stop them with the man down, but they get the ball out. And they'll have 5 on the clock if they want to have an opportunity, but I think they're just going to run it into the corner.
Yeah, I think there's some coaching conversations that have been going on about, you know, if you man down, you've got possession, you know, try and kill the clock maybe in your own half. The second it goes over the half, you've got the over and back. You've also then obviously got the outlet from the goalkeeper in your own half that you can then have that extra player. And he's done a great job to kill that penalty. And you know, those are the little things that Sam Patterson will be looking, you know, for his team executing. And they've done a really good job on that one, to be fair.
Tip shot, I think, from Sweetman, so will retain possession. Shot clock ran out, but again, we've got that push call coming, I think, on Poke. It's been a real bit of a bitty game so far, I think. Mistakes, penalties, and yeah, I think the teams are just still trying to find their way at the moment.
You took the words right out of my mouth there, Sean. Yeah, I think bitty, mistakes, you know, poor shots, poor decisions. I just think this shows the two teams that kind of had a tough weekend, and they're just trying to find a little bit of form. And you know, this game is still, you know, 4-3 at half-time, going in really kind of delicately poised.
These are big moments again for Hustle, playing lots of man-down sets, but again, seeing the team off. And Kirkland can come again on that quick transition. Flipped out to Fliss, great little dummy and over-the-top finish. They now could be caught out as they, with that man down, they're now struggling to get men back in defence. Sweetman just can't take the feed. And now here's the Sixers in its element. The possessions, multiple possessions changing hands.
They got really fortunate there, the Swift. I think Garnsworthy had just called that timeout before. I think Allsop stepped on the field and didn't realise the ball was being thrown to him. And, you know, again, just one of those kind of examples of lots of little kind of mistakes or just guys not quite with it at the moment. And I think we're probably in for a second half with the coaches actually having a good opportunity at half-time to kind of reflect on the first half and really make some changes or make some impetus of, you know, control in this game.
Yeah, I'm seeing quite a few on the bench, a lot of frustrated figures. I think people, you know, it's not just quite going for them at the moment. And I think half-time will probably be a good thing for both these teams, just to get a moment inside. As we enter the last 10 seconds of the half, Rogerson looking for an opportunity. Poke is going to get called again. Just as our half-time hooter goes, I say, as these penalties start to build up, one of the rules in this is that 3 yellow cards for one player will see them sit out the rest of the game. So that's something that the teams at this point probably do have to be a bit mindful of now. We've seen players going to the bench multiple times, and it'll be something that could be a factor if legs start to go towards the end.
Absolutely, Sean. I think, you know, we were just seeing the yellow card being shown there at the bench, so there will be somebody serving. I think, you know, just wanted to see these teams kind of just show a little bit of the quality, because they've both got it in it. We saw the Hustle yesterday play an absolute cracking game against Rise, and we saw Swift really kind of challenge Forge and those types of things. You know, we know there's the capability within both of these groups. At the moment, they're not reflecting their ability, and I'd love to just see them in the second half come out and, you know, play for the last 16 minutes of this tournament.
So I think now we're going to hear from head coach Hustle, Sam Patterson, who we spoke to earlier this morning on his takes ahead of this game.
Died ahead of the third place playoff with head coach Sam Patterson of Hustle. You're playing Swift later today. Talk to us about the loss yesterday, unfortunately, to Rise.
Yeah, obviously, unfortunately, we lost the semi-final. We knew going into that game that Rise were a really talented offensive team, and I think that to be in a 14-14 game with a minute to go was a real. We kind of knew we had the ability and the players to do that, but it was a really good opportunity. We were in at that stage of the game, and I think it was a bit of heartache at the end. You know, an errant timeout, and it's a coaching error on my part that kind of took the game away for us, and then obviously they scored those 2 goals right at the death. So it was a bit of a bittersweet.
You say coaching error. Everybody's learning at the moment, aren't they? So you can't be too hard on yourself, surely.
Yeah, I think the 30-second timeout, in terms of the length of the timeout, is a bit of a challenge. Obviously, in the field game, you know, it's a minute minimum, so you know, trying to get over your points, and we've got to prepare for that. We prepared for that today, so if we do call a timeout, we know we're not going to waste that 30 seconds and potentially get another infraction again. But yeah, it's a massive learning curve from the coaches and the players. I think as the players have progressed through the tournament, I think they've started to understand the rule set, and they've started to understand it's a mentality switch for them as well. The game's just a lot different than the field game and also the indoor game. So yeah. Now,
as well as a new format, these are new teams that have been put together. It's your job as a coach to get them gelling. How do you do that when the team is so fresh together?
With us, it's a particular challenge because we had 4 new players this weekend, so in our 12-man roster. So yeah, it's been a really big challenge. I think as the players get more buy-in and as we get more time with our teams going forward, I think it will be a lot more consistent. And I think the inconsistency with the team, particularly our team. Players have had a couple of games to get used to playing with one another. You know, guys that have never played with each other. Whereas some of the other teams, you know, obviously most of them are England players, so they've come through academy together and they play national squads together. So there's already that chemistry and that relationship that they understand each other's games. So our team was a bit more geographically spread out. Wales, Scotland. We've got a player from Latvia on our team. So yeah, it was a bit of a challenge.
Now, I did a lot of watching yesterday. I thought you were one of the more passionate coaches on the pitch side. What does it mean to you, this tournament?
I get a bit rolled up in the games. I'm a very competitive man. So I don't really play for second place. So yeah, we do everything we can to put ourselves in that winning position. But I think obviously like I say, it's a new format, it's a new entity really. So to try and get the players to buy in, but also me as a coach and Dave, my assistant. Hopefully as this thing snowballs, as teams get a bigger identity, the players will get more buy-in and hopefully we'll get the fan buy-in as well.
And in your opinion, you just used the word snowball. Can sixes go places? I
think obviously there's been a lot of hoo-ha around the field game, box game, and then the sixes game. I see this as a really good entrance to sport. A really good for someone who's never seen the sport before. For beginners at school, for the untrained eye, if you will. I think the sixes format is a great format for our game. So, I only see this getting bigger, and also it's a bit of a leveler as well in the international game. Team USA, Team Canada. I think it could be a leveler for other nations.
Welcome back to the second half of the third-fourth playoff game between Swift and Hustle. We're back underway here with Dan Flisk on the ball, looking to extend Hustle's 5-3 lead that they built up in the first half of the game.
Yeah, it was really interesting listening to Sam there. I think he took some ownership over what he said was a coaching mistake in terms of a timeout, and I think to some extent it's great to see coaches own up to mistakes, but I don't think that was the only thing. I think there was a number of sequential mistakes that happened for his team yesterday, but fair credit to him actually taking some ownership over that. Certainly might help his players go out and perform today, because they can rest easy that they put a great game in against Rise yesterday.
Here's Hardy on ball, looking to get shot away. Didn't quite get the angle, just pulled it a little bit. But yeah, I think, watching the game so far, I think Hustle have been the more composed team so far. They've sort of ran the ball better. They sort of look like they know what they're doing. And Coach Patterson's, marshalled them really well so far.
Yeah, and as we see this third quarter unfold, I really think that, certainly what we heard from Sam Patterson over that half-time break was, maybe he was saying that his guys are, getting closer and gelling a little bit more, and every little minute that these guys play together, it counts that little bit more. So we'll see what they've got for the last little bit. Here goes Jones.
Lovely move that. He just sort of lined it up, knew what he wanted to do, and executed it perfectly.
Yeah, and we said this in the first half. Hustle have got themselves into a position before where they've made a 1-goal lead, a 2 and a 3. If they can if they can get a stop here with Wobang, they can get another goal at the other end. They might start to see themselves winning this game and start taking control and start to manage this through. Interestingly, we're not seeing as many goals as we saw yesterday in this early part of the game. So we never know, something might explode out in this third quarter. We hope.
Excellent run by Wilshire, and really unfortunate there to not come away with the goal. He rode a few challenges, came right in front, and I think they're going to get the ball from a couple of those challenges. But yeah, Hilditch called for a penalty there.
Yeah, we saw there another opportunity that the Hustle created for themselves in transition. I think Shirt would really want to bury that one, but he's done a job by earning the foul, and here we go on the extra man.
We've got Flisk and Hardy both on this right-hand side here. Both, I'm sure, will be angling for a shot if they can just get themselves free.
Yeah, then a nice little backside exchange off that rotation as well. So they're working hard off ball, and that's where you want to get Hardy, great into a shooting position.
So Hustle open up a 4-goal lead on Swift here. Early up in our third quarter, Andrew Baxter pulling one back for Swift. That's a really important goal to get them running now. I think they really needed that one.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little pick in there that maybe screened Wobang, but that is it. They've just got to go next play up mentality here and just really try and get themselves back into a competition.
Feed up to Kirtland. Again behind the back, this time from Gorham, I think. Comes off the post.
Yeah, that was a really nice take and a really nice opportunity. He recognised that he was losing his angle, and actually the best way was to go not just behind the back but around the world, and really, those are the ones that fans love to see. Unfortunately, it just come off the post.
Elliot Hurry in goal for Swift there, trying to direct his defence, trying to get them aware, get them in shape. Swift as Hustle look to work the ball again. Shooting options, Flisk here, Hardy down low.
Yeah, they're running the same extra man. There's that backside exchange, giving Flisk the opportunity to step in. Great double save.
That's top work there from Elliot Hurry. He probably didn't deserve for his team to lose the ball again.
And that's a great little double save, but you'd love the Swift just to come up on the ground ball there and give themselves an opportunity. But again, we're going to go see Hustle have a go on goal.
So Hustle have probably done those little things, those dirty things better so far. Winning good ground balls, getting in front of their men, and slowing down Swift's breaks as Rosser has a bit of an errant shot there. That ball's off down into the distance.
Yeah, we saw two of the Hustle guys just drop nice and deep. We had Hardy and Flisk, and they were like, yeah, you can try and beat us in transition, but we're actually just going to hit the hole and really make it difficult for you. And again, they're giving themselves that opportunity.
And I think that will be the shot from Pope, ball goes wide. I think almost looking at how Hustle have set up now, that will be the plan. They're having the two men sit right up the top, which means, if something breaks down, there will be no transition ball for Swift. They're going to, really manage this game well with that 3-goal lead. And as we see this in effect now, as Mills gets an opportunity to come forward, shirts up against him. Rogerson finds bottom corner.
Yeah, it was a good individual effort there, to be fair. I'd be interested to see where the Hustle actually start dodging from in this next possession, because the last couple they've not gone from a high spot. They've kind of gone more from the wings and trying to dodge the ball. Here goes Jones from high. Just trying to see maybe if Sam made a bit of a change at the quarter time, but it's interesting just to see how this quarter's actually going to unfold. We're into the last 90 seconds of this quarter, and again, I just still think there's a team that just needs to go and grab this game and go to win it.
I'm going there. Help me. Who's going that side? Side. No lefty.
There's Hilditch looking for, again, I think his first goal of the game. Like you said, someone who was so influential yesterday, just hasn't been able to get going for the Swift. And I think if, they could try get him on board, might be the answer to their issues at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure the Hustle will have been talking about the threat of Hilditch, and at least on the last couple of possessions, Tommy Kirkland's actually been picking him up, because Tommy's normally a straight defender. He's a very good straight defender, and you want to get your best defender on one of their best attackmen. So I'm sure that part of the conversation's happening about trying to limit his opportunities, and so far it seems to be working.
Here's Kirkland in attack this time and finds back of the net, doing the work at both ends of the field.
He's somebody who, coming into this fly competition, you were really going to see what he was made of with a short stick, and he's absolutely stepped up to that mark in terms of playing the defence. But he's not only just chipped in with a couple of goals, he's actually been a good contributor for the Hustle.
Yeah, I think he's really, in that role as captain, he's really stepped up both ends of the field. And like you say, for those guys who usually play long pole, this has been this could be like a whole new set of skills that they're having to learn, along with the new format. It's just been that added extra thing. So I think, the players in those sort of positions have really had a really quick learning curve over this weekend. And someone like Kirtland is someone who's shown that he's adapted to that really well, and he's getting better with each game.
Absolutely. It's one of those, you always want to encourage your defenders to play feet first, not to be too over-reliant on the stick. And I think he's actually demonstrating that, give him a short stick, he can actually handle the ball up front, but it's not going to impact his defensive game. So here we go after, I think it was a timeout we had there, Sean. We're going to see the Swift go and, can they get within 2?
Yeah, 13 seconds in the quarter for Swift. Hilditch looking to line one up, and there we go. They tried to close him out well, and he was kind of closed out, but he just backed himself with the shot and found the bottom corner.
Yeah, they went on the early slide. I think, Drobeng looking on the clear, knew there wasn't long in the quarter. This is, I keep saying it, it's well poised. I just want to see one of these teams really kind of get a grasp of this, get a hold of the game, have some control in their possessions, and it's totally within their capabilities right now.
Yeah, just watching Coach Shitlani now talking to his troops, I think they were really, pleased with how they've just finished there. They've got a couple goals in. They've started to pull themselves back. Their key players are starting to come to the fore. Just seen Hilditch score. Sweetman's getting on the ball more. I think this is, in that first weekend where they thrived of, building up that momentum and coming back late. And I think it's going to be a really interesting last quarter.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, actually, Sean. We've seen the Swift in this position a number of times and they've come through with the win. We've also seen Hustle in this position where they've been in the lead and then they've managed to manage the game through. So actually how this game's set up right now is that it's playing into both of these teams' strengths. And, who's going to come through strongest, I guess, is the best way to put this across.
So as we say, this is we're in the quarter time just before our last quarter of this fourth place playoff between Swift and Hustle on the Fly Finals weekend. We will be following up later this afternoon with our men's final match between Rise and Forge, and I'm sure that's something that you're looking forward to very much as well, Mike.
Absolutely. We know up at the in the meeting rooms and stuff that both those teams are having good game planning meetings now. I actually walked in on Coach Carr watching some game film back yesterday and really trying to get right into the detail with his team. They also had a good team session last night. Interestingly, the Forge actually went out last night. They went bowling for a couple hours and just tried to get away from the lacrosse and refresh those guys. So we'll see what happens, in that final later on this afternoon. But I think what we've got is 2 great finalists that's going to put on a show for us later on today.
So we hope you're able to join us at 2 p.m. for that men's final. But meanwhile, we're about to get underway for our fourth and final quarter of this fourth playoff. Tough face-off between Rosser and Chapman. Rosser comes up with the ball this time. Important win for Swift.
Yeah, those 2 guys going face-to-face on the face-off. They'll know each other well from Wales Lacrosse, and we saw that in that battle. I think that was probably one of the longest face-off battles we've actually seen across the Fly.
Here's Hilditch again, up against Kirkland. Really good work from Kirkland there so far. They look to put the double on. Hilditch gets the shot away and Dwoibeng makes the save.
Yeah, we saw on Hilditch's first move there where he's been getting that step on a couple of guys. Kirkland just did not buy it, and that was his defensive experience coming through. Hilditch still works so hard with the ball and stick to get to a great position, and potentially maybe knew he had the flag come in, and Dwoibeng was equal with the save.
One opportunities. Ball goes back behind.
Yeah, we've not seen a huge amount of that. We've not seen a huge amount of players actually, pushing the ball from X and playing from behind. But absolutely, there's an opportunity to turn a defence, especially either in that slow break opportunity or maybe on that extra man.
Dwoibeng coming under pressure from Sweetman there, getting his stick right involved. Little bit of cat and mouse. Dwoibeng comes out the winner in the end.
And because the Swift put on that press, they've now got a lack of numbers in defence, and Hustle capitalised through with, was that Hardy?
That was Will Hardy getting another goal for the game. Great take from Hilditch down low. Sweetman behind the back. Saved Dwoibeng. And Swift looking to move the ball on quick again. They could go for it, but I think they'll probably just settle with their 3-goal lead at the moment.
Yeah, this is where we're going to see Hustle do a little bit of management of this game now. Especially now they've gone 4 in advantage. I think, we're going to really see them just consolidate, play 5v5 defence, maybe not push too much on transition, and utilise those 30-second possessions to kill this game clock.
Important return there for Swift, pulling the goal back. Will Allsop cutting their lead back to 3 again.
Yeah, you can see this here now.
The pressure's just started to turn up, hasn't it? You can feel the tension's just started to rise between both teams.
Yeah, so they've got that game scoreboard pressure coming into it now, Swift. You can see Hustle slowing things down. The 10 on the shot clock, they're not really being too direct in the goal. They want to use those 30-second possessions. And again, there Jones draws the foul, and that's going to give them a reset of the shot clock, and 30 seconds probably utilised to take off the game clock.
Jones has been expert at that all weekend. Just that style that he has, the way he protects his ball, you know, the way he drives, it always sort of draws those fouls, draws those players to try and make the check. He puts it out there, gives them the opportunity, and he's drawn so many penalties this weekend through that method.
You can see Coach Patterson right down at the end of his box now, really kind of coaching his attack through this next possession, because he knows how important this next possession is. And 1, can they get the goal? 2, can they actually kill some time out of this?
Yeah, I'm sure they look to run the full 30 seconds here. There was a few shooting opportunities, but you can see no, they're going to run this clock down. They're going to utilise all their time, get themselves in the best position possible.
Yeah, Shirt was definitely getting in a couple of shooting positions there for me, and electing to hold on to the ball rather than take the shot. And you know, that's kind of a little bit of maturity coming through from him. You know, he's still a young player, but he's actually really learning the game, especially in the sixes. He's really been impactful.
There he is on the defensive end, putting up a great effort against Rogerson, and there we go. Ground ball hustle, great work, Will Shirt, both ends. Hardy's able to come away, he's got a 2-on-1 if he can pass. Elects to shoot and goes wide.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if that had gone in the back of the net, that was Will Shirt's goal, because he forced that turnover and made it a 50-50 ground ball.
Sweetman looking to line something up individually. Again, good work, but Shirt just with the push in the back. Sweetman go for the flying dive. Drobeng stood up well to it again, but they will get the man-up opportunity, and this is where Swift now going to really want to drive up the pressure with 3:20 to go.
Yeah, you can hear Coach Patterson asking his team to just get in, play defence. He doesn't want to give them transition. I think they're really getting into some form of game management here now, because they know they've got that 3-goal advantage. In a game which has only seen 17 goals in total, he knows how important it is.
And there, with the man down, Hilditch was able to line one up, and although Gorham tried to get the dive out, Hilditch was able to wind up and finish. And we're seeing now that he's alive, he's got a couple goals, and if Swift can get the ball back on attack, he's definitely their go-to man, I think, in these final 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, they're just taking the time on the possession.
They're in the last 5.
And again,
tip shot, so they'll get the reset on the clock.
And they'll be happy with that. They'll be really happy with that. They'll probably try and utilise the full 30 here. You can see that they're just spreading the field a little bit. They're giving themselves an opportunity, and they'll be really controlled in their possessions now.
Really good work there from Luke Mills. Could have been dangerous. Could have lost the play there, but managed to dispossess Flisk. Sweetman goes for the intercept, doesn't make it. Gorman looking to feed to crease. Flisk with the turn and shot, saved Hurry.
Yeah, and I think what we're going to start to see is maybe Swift kind of putting on a little bit more pressure, really trying to, you know, they've potentially got some numbers here from the substitution game.
It's that man again, it's Hilditch, but he's slipped and clouded out well. You could hear the call coming from Hustle keeper Drobeng, asking his team not to foul, but they give away the push. Sweetman hits the post, collects again. Drobeng makes the save. Massive moments here with 1:30 on the clock. Hustle again just want to get that ball in the attacking end and calm things down.
That could have been a game-winning moment right there. Here we go again though. What's Drobeng got in his locker for this one? Yeah, he's actually saying no foul, because he knows how important it is for his team to play 5v5 here. And we can see the impetus from Swift really trying to, with a minute to go, really trying to they're putting on that full press. They're saying, we want to make sure that we're going to make you play right the way to the very end of this game.
Like say, if they hold this for the whole time, they'll hold Swift to almost just about one possession. They'll have to work the ball quickly when they get the chance. Or there's a over and behind call there.
Great pressure from Mills. He knows the rules. He knows there's a possession there. I think we're going to potentially see maybe
delay.
A timeout or a legal procedure call.
Yeah, Jones just knocking the ball away as he was retreating, and it's really not what Hustle wanted. And you can see that Coach Patterson doesn't really want to look at his player as he comes off. But his men have actually done well on their man down so far today, so they need to just put up another set here now.
I'm going to stick up for Dan Jones there. I think that was accidental.
It's Hilditch, fake step. And again, great finish. Great work, Hilditch. Pulls the game within 33 seconds left. Hustle are a man down. Yeah, Swift will put the pressure on.
They're going full press pretty much. They're going to have Dwobeng be chased here by Sweetman.
It's about 5 seconds difference between shot clock and game clock, so there will be some opportunity for Swift to have ball at the end of this, as long as they don't concede. And they're giving Hustle the option, and Gorham finds the finish, and that should be game for Hustle.
Yeah, that'll be game, Sean. They've done a great job. We said about Hustle managing the game, and that's exactly what they've done. And it's great to see Hilditch not giving up to the last. There's a second on the clock, but I think that's pretty much done.
And that is Team Hustle taking third place in our men's playoff here at the Fly. Great effort from Hustle after the, both these teams losing both their games. They just got knocked out in the semi-finals yesterday, but they've come back now with a really strong victory, and that's great for them as a team.
Yeah, no, there's lots of smiles on faces down there, I'm sure, because they know that they've put in a performance for themselves there. They dug deep. They had to manage that game. They recognised that they were conceding, potentially a little bit in transition. They got numbers back. They were keeping it nice and tight and compact. They capitalised on their transition opportunities, and then they managed the game towards the end, the end of that last quarter. So, fair play to them. There's some mature performances out there, and I think Swift, played to the last as well there, Sean. So, credit where it's due.
Yeah, I think I think the teams have come out at the end of this weekend that, particularly for somebody like Hustle, that they've really grown through that. They've really put themselves together, and they've shown, just because they've taken disappointment earlier in the tournament, that they're here to perform. They're here to prove themselves on the stage. And like you say, whilst this is the Fly and the tournament of the Fly, there's also the bigger picture of what this means. And, we've got the GB head coaches here watching this weekend. There are some players out there that will want to be representing. They'll want to be up for selection and inclusion in those teams when they're being picked for World Games next year. So it was really important for them today to come out and make a statement. And I think they've well and truly done that.
Absolutely. There's some guys there that have really put the stamp on this format of the game. And, I think there's been some names that, I don't mind saying, the likes of Hilditch in this game, the likes of Sweetman, they're really well suited to the sixes. But then we've also had those surprises with the likes of Kirkland, who's come through and, made this kind of game his own. It's been a nice, pleasant surprise out of the whole format. And I think what we've also seen is the importance of the goalkeeper position. The goalie's really, we saw right there at the end, an athletic goalkeeper with Dwobeng coming out of the field and, making those stops, but also making sure he's killing clock for his team and maintaining possession. So there's so many different variables to consider. I think it's been great food for thought for those GB coaches.
Yeah, and as I say, Team Swift, they've had a bit of a difficult weekend here, but they proved their credentials in that opening weekend, and there are players out there with talent, players out there with skill, and whilst it's just not come right for them today, I think when they look back at the process, they'll reflect on the good things that they did, the work that they did well. And, once again, learning experiences, these are the very first few times that they're being able to play the game, explore the game, understand what the game's about. So they'll be able to take a lot away from this too.
Yeah, I know Sitlani and Garnsworthy last night were talking about what process goals they can generate out of this game. And I'm sure they'll have ticked a few boxes. Absolutely, all the players have learned, the coaches have learned. But I think we're about to hear from Sam Patterson. So Let's hear from the winning head coach of that third and fourth playing game, Sam Patterson.
Here on the pitch with Sam Patterson, head coach of Hustle. What a great advert for the Sport Sixes.
Yeah, it was. All these games have been so tight. You know, 1-goal games, overtime games. There's not been too many blowouts. So yeah, we thought we had a few more goals in us right at the end there in terms of getting a bigger margin. But you know, they did a really good job to come back right at the death. But yeah, we managed the game.
Now, like the women's third place playoff, quite a low scoring game. I know you thought you should have had more. Is that anything to do with tiredness or just the way the game played out?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I think also yesterday, you know, it was a long day. You know, we were here all day, 2 games, and quite a long day. So we managed our recovery last night, and then today it was just kind of the energy was a little bit low before the game, and then obviously we want to be in the final. Let's be honest. But this for us was trying to get the players motivated for this bronze medal game, and then yeah, it was we showed it in the first half really.
Now, the introduction of the shot clock, as we've seen the matches progress, it's become more and more important and used as a tactic. I heard you shouting a lot, go on 10, use the clock. Just explain what that means.
So we had obviously a 2 to 3 goal margin, and you know they're chasing the game essentially. So we may as well use the shot clock to our advantage and go on 10. We didn't really manage that as well as I would wish. We didn't really communicate offensively which guy had the right match, and kind of get out of that guy's way a little bit. But no, yeah, we were just trying to use it to our advantage and try to get them, also kind of force them to come and play further out, open them up a little bit behind them, and then also try and draw some penalties as well.
Now, lacrosse is of course a physical game, but emotions particularly running high in that game. It wasn't the final, but it meant a lot to the players.
Definitely, yeah. Obviously, yeah. The boys all play field lacrosse or box lacrosse, so the physicality is tough for them to kind of get used to. And I keep saying on the bench, you know, you're not playing field or box anymore. You're playing sixes. It's a different mindset, it's a different skill set. So, yeah, it was tough with the rule set a little bit, but then also, you know, like the players are up for it. They want, you know, they've come a long way to be here. They've given up a weekend to be here, and it's a great event. You know, the organisers are a fantastic job running the event. So yeah, it meant something to them, definitely.
And in your opinion, as the coach, the future of sixes, what does it hold?
Obviously, hopefully Olympics. You know, hopefully I know we've the IOC recognition's there now, and it's, you know, hopefully this inspires the younger kids, because it's not, unfortunately, maybe a few of these guys might potentially be there in 2028 in LA, but it's the 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds that are hopefully watching at home here in England or around the world that are going to be inspired to get involved, to hopefully be out in LA in 2028.
Sam, congratulations, third place. Go and join your team.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks to Coach Patterson there. It was really good to hear, you know, the way he talked about how the team were, you know, still really motivated to win this, and you know, even though, you know, they weren't in the final, it meant that, you know, they were still here playing for their pride, still playing for their efforts. And I think we're going to hear from one of those players that was key to their victory, Hal Dwobeng.
Hal, like H-A-L.
Hal. And we are here with Hal, the goalkeeper for Hustle. Congratulations, great win.
Oh yeah, it was good. I think at the start of the weekend we didn't, you know, set out to win the fourth playoff. You obviously want to go the whole way and win one, but it was a great game, and we sort of dealt that hand, so we thought may as well do our best, get a bronze place as it were. And yeah, great game. Thanks to Swift as well. They played quality on the flip side of it, made a really good occasion.
Now, you're clearly one of the most vocal people on the field. You were really up for that. It wasn't the final, but you were up for it.
Yeah, I think so. I think no one likes to lose, do they? And I'm one of those competitive souls, and I think it comes out on me on the pitch. Sometimes maybe don't channel it the best and shouting at referees here and there, but no, I do like to shout at the players, and I think they give it me back. They know it's nothing personal in that sense.
We haven't spoken to many players this weekend. What are your thoughts on the rules, the future of sixes? How does it play out on the field?
Exciting, quick. I know, and it sounds a bit of a cliche, people using that word, all those words every time, but it is that. I think we've still got stuff to learn. I think like some of the rule changes from usual field is a bit different, but we're getting there. And I think, you know, the more and more it goes on, and the more events like this, you can sort of channel it and make it better. But I think the basis and what it is can be for fans and players who want to pick it up is quality.
And what was it like gelling with essentially a brand new team over the last few weeks?
Yeah, it was different, one of those, but really good. You know, a few familiar faces, a few different ones, but the quality of players is all there. So you sort of, you know, you invite it because that's what you want to do, play with the better players. So and I think all the teams evenly spread, and it made for really good competition. So yeah, really good.
Hal, congratulations. Go and join your team. Thanks for your time.
Much.
Cheers,
Thank
buddy.
You.
It's great to hear from Hal there and how much he's enjoying the fly, Sean.
Yeah, I think we've heard from players and coaches there, particularly talking about the format and the sort of almost the future of the game past this point. Obviously, this is the culmination of all the hard works over the last months and weeks for the fly, but this is just the beginning for the format and just the beginning for the sport. And I think it's really exciting that the players feel that this game could go wherever it could take this team. It could take them to Olympics, or it could take them to future representation tournaments. And I think it's great to hear them talking about that passion to carry this on just outside of the fly.
Yeah, and he spoke about the learning that's gone on, and I think we're about to hand over to coach of the Swift, Ryan Garnsworthy. I'm sure he'll know a lot about the learning, because I know that the Swift we're constantly talking about what they're learning out of this weekend and the experiences they're gaining. So I think we're probably ready to go here from Garnsworthy. So over to himself.
Here on the pitch with Ryan Garnsworthy, unfortunately the losing coach. Just talk us through the game from your perspective, Ryan.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought game, another close one, which this style of tournament and this style of games seems to be proving, which is fantastic. We just didn't execute. Hal had a fantastic game in goal, and yeah, we spoke about it. We had the game plan up front. We nailed what we wanted to in transition. We nailed what we wanted to do and do what we did in defence, but just couldn't execute up front. We didn't have the cohesion that we wanted.
Because you were the team on weekend one, so is there anything significant you can put your finger on between then and the last couple of days?
Yeah, from week one we played a higher press, and we looked to sort of get the ball rolling and get the ball back early, and that the disadvantage of that is once your line's broken, you have to get back quickly. We knew that was a risk the players and everyone wanted to take. We tried to change quickly yesterday, but we just couldn't change that quick enough. We nailed it today. I thought we did a fantastic job of getting back. Probably still not as good as we could have, but it was a lot better today. But I think that we pushed it in transition against, and it didn't. Maybe not the way the game's going to be played going further down the line.
Now, over the entire championship, a lot of games decided by one goal. So we talk about marginal gains in sport. Going forward, what do you need to win games in sixes?
You need clock management. The shot clock is it's a really new concept. It's a fantastic concept. It keeps the game close. So I think also timeouts are only 30 seconds. So you've got to go in with a timeout plan, something that, because we haven't been able to train, we haven't necessarily been able to do. So rather than drawing your timeout play, you already know what it is, and then go out and execute it. So I think that would help getting into the end of it. But I think as coaches we got to learn around how to keep those timeouts, how to use them effectively in the last 2 minutes or even less. Take maybe some heed from basketball and how they do it.
And finally, the rules on a whole. Is there anything from what you've seen so far that you would like to see tweaked, or what are the positives and negatives at the moment of the current setup?
By and large, I love it. Absolutely love it. The crease rule for the men's, where defenders are not allowed into the crease, that didn't play out the way that I think it's written up in the rule book. But I think that's a real disadvantage to defenders, and I think that will change the game drastically from a defensive point of view, and then how you play that in attack. And in terms of teaching kids this game, we're teaching them two different things from 10s to 6s on that, how to play defence in and around the crease. And I'm not sure that's necessarily right.
Ryan, great entertainment. Thanks for your team. Great weekend. We'll see you very soon.
Thank you.
So there we go. That was our fourth playoff game. Hustle versus Swift. Hustle taking the win in the end, and they take third place. So thanks, Mike, for joining me. You'll be back later on this afternoon, 2 p.m. for our men's final, which will be up against between Rise and Forge. But before that, coming up at 1 p.m, we've got the women's fly final, which is between Swift and Forge. And we hope you can join us again for that soon. So thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us, Mike.